Good morning, kids. Today we're going to talk about adding positive rational numbers. That includes fractions, decimals, and whole numbers. So let's get started. PowerPoint. Oh, I don't think this is the right PowerPoint. It is not the right PowerPoint. This is the right PowerPoint. Okay, so let's get started. Like I said, positive rational numbers include all positive fractions, decimals, and whole numbers. So before we get started, we're going to talk about our favorite tool that's going to help us. It's called the money chart. The money chart allows us to convert fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. Why do I call the money chart? Because you have to think of it like money. This first row right here is a whole. That's $1. From now on, below the whole, we're going to split that whole up into a number of pieces, and we've got to figure out how much each piece is going to be worth. So if I split it into 1/2, I know half of $1 is 50 cents. So that means 1/2 is equal to 5/10. And then if I have 2 halves, that's 1 whole. The same thing with fourths. If I split $1 up 4 ways, I know 1/4 of my dollar will be 25 cents. So 1/4 is the same as 25 hundredths. 2/4 is going to be 50 cents or 50 hundredths. 3/4 is going to be 75 hundredths, and 4/4 will be a whole. If I were to split that same dollar up 5 ways, I know that 1/5 would be 20 hundredths or 20 cents. 2/5 would be 40 hundredths or 40 cents. 3/5 would be 60 hundredths or 60 cents. 4/5 would be 80 hundredths or 80 cents, and 5/5 would be 1 whole or $1. I would continue to do the same thing with 8ths, 10ths, and 20ths. Okay, I have attached this in the teams so that you can use it in your classroom today. Okay, again, this is located in the teams under class files so that you can open it and use it as a resource when you are working on your problems for today. Let's get to our problem. Maybe let's not get to our problem. Thank you. Hallie needs 10 pounds of meat to make a sandwich tray. She has 3 45 pounds of turkey and 2 1/5 pounds of roast beef. How much more meat will Hallie need for her tray? So we need to look at the information in this problem and figure out, what do I need to find? The question is telling me how much more meat will Hallie need for her tray. So let's look at what we have. Hallie needs 10 pounds of meat. So how many pounds of meat does she need? 10. I'm going to write that down. She has 3 45 pounds of turkey. So that's what I know right now. And 2 1/5 pounds of roast beef. So this is what she has right now, okay? Now, again, you are writing this. If you see little menus come down, it's because I have to use the computer, and you have to be very nice to the computer, or it's going to mess up your entire PowerPoint. So I have to be super nice to my computer, or it's going to mess this whole presentation up. I have that down. Now, the question says, I know how much meat she needs. I know how much meat, turkey and roast beef. I need to figure out how much meat she needs to buy, because obviously she does not have enough meat. That's what the question is asking me. How much more money will Hallie need? Let's put that in red. How much more meat will Hallie need for her tray? So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to add my turkey and my roast beef. But I have a problem. I have a decimal and a fraction. So I either need to figure out, do I want to add decimals or do I want to add fractions? Well, if you can change your fraction to a decimal, then I would change your fraction to a decimal. But if that is not an option, you're going to have to change your decimal to a fraction. Lucky for us, I can change 1/5 to a decimal. Let's go to our money chart. I'm going to go to 1/5, and I see 1/5 is right here. 1/5 is the same as 20 hundredths. Woo woo! That means I can change 1/5 to 20 hundredths, and it will be the same amount. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to change this. Instead of 2 1/5. This is now going to be 2 20 hundredths. Woo woo. Okay. Now, remember, I need to know how much meat she needs to buy. Well, I know how much turkey and roast beef she has. So let's figure out how much meat she has right now. So I'm going to add 3 45 hundredths and 2 20 hundredths. Let's get to adding. 5 plus 0 is 5. 4 plus 2 will be 6. There's my decimal because I lined up all my numbers. And then 3 plus 5 will be, 3 plus 2 will be 5. So right now, I know she has 5 65 hundredths pounds of meat. Now, how much meat does she need? 10 pounds. So what I'm going to do is very simple. I am going to subtract 10 from what she has. So I have 10 pounds minus 5 65 hundredths. Oops. Now, remember what we talked about on Monday? Remember what we talked about on Tuesday? I can't leave these 2 spots blank because I have numbers below it. I need to add something, zeros. Now we can subtract. So let's get started. 0 minus 5, can't do that. 0 minus 6, can't do. And 0 minus 5, I can't do. So this 1 is going to become, scratch that out, it's going to become a 0. This 0 is going to become a Bahamba. The 0 is going to become a 9. That's going to be a 9. Forgive the scratch out, guys. Again, you have to be nice to the computer, and I wasn't nice, and so now it's scratching out all my numbers. So, and it's scratching them all together. Okay, so let's get to subtracting. 9 minus 5 is 4. 9 minus 6 is 3. 9 minus 5 is 4. And 0 minus 0 is 0. So how much meat does she need to buy? She needs to go to the store and buy 4 3/4 hundredths pounds of meat. Okay. Super easy. Woo woo. Super easy. Now remember, if you have to change your decimal to a fraction, then you need to follow the rules of adding and subtracting fractions, which we discussed on Wednesday in class. Okay. If you have any questions, just send me a message through Teams. And yay, we finished the first week of summer school.